Okay. So thank you for joining us for another Moving to Mexico Monday. Just as we get started, I want to do a little housekeeping. And one thing I want to tell you is we're recording this meeting and we're going to post it on our YouTube channel. So if you're not comfortable being on video or having your full name, I see some people, or most of us have our full names on here. You can change that if you don't want that to appear on the video. But we're going to post the video. So if you want to turn off your camera, you can do that and just participate with audio or however you feel comfortable doing it. And tonight we're doing something a little bit different. This is way less of a presentation and more of, I'm thinking of it like a cocktail party. What do you think, Gabrielle?
Excellent.
Yeah. So, oh, there's Lois. So, because we want you, you know, I think one of the things that people feel when they're thinking about moving to Mexico, I mean, everyone has this romantic idea, I'm going to sell everything and run away to Mexico. But how does that work? How do you do that? And also, what happens when you get here? Is it just every day lazing on the beach? Is it, you know, what is life like here? And I get so many people when we're shopping for properties, they're worried they're going to be bored or they're not going to meet people, they're not going to make friends. And so I thought, when we do this in person, when we do this meeting in Puerto Morelos, we do it every Monday during high seasons, we always have some people come in from the community to speak to that, to kind of share their experience and answer questions about their experience. Now that we switched to Zoom, that's been a little harder. Caroline, who's on here. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, guys.
Caroline and John have been our wingman in real life and in Zoom, and that's been awesome. So I invited them tonight, but I also invited some other people who have made Puerto Morelos their home. And so they're here to kind of share their experience and answer your questions. And so I'm not going to take up too much time, but I will I think what we're going to do is kind of go through all the people who are living here, and I'm going to ask you to do just a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about your story and where you're from, you know, how you found Puerto Morelos, what you love about it, what's your little bit about your life, and then anything you would change in the way that you moved here, the whatever of your life here, things that you would change. And I guess I want to preface it all by saying something that I try to say in every Moving to Mexico Monday, which is that please keep in mind when you're thinking of coming here and shopping for properties that this is not another state of the United States. This is not another province of Canada. You're moving to a completely different country and different rules, different expectations. Some things just don't translate. And so part of talking to people who've lived here is to see how they've handled that, right? It is very different. And also you want it to be, you know, you left your country for a reason and you're coming to a new country. So it's fun to learn about it. Hi, Mark. I have Mark on here. I'm gonna ask him.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. So we're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Awesome.
That's myself, my wife, and my 8-year-old son. And we literally just sold everything. So hopefully a little bit later in the year, we're coming to Mexico with Kim's help. And hopefully, fingers crossed, building a house there. Again, with Kim's help and Kim's good friend, Jonathan.
Yay. Oh, there's Donna. Hi, Donna. Welcome. Oh, we can't hear you.
Unmute.
Oh, we can't see everybody.
Ask to unmute.
Unmute. Okay.
All
Now?
right. Yep, we got you.
Okay.
Thank
Hello.
you. Hello. So let me just, actually, since we have you here, Donna, why don't I start with
Yeah.
you? Would you like to start? Would you like to begin?
What do you want me to say? Hello?
I guess I want to introduce, you know, everyone who's here, and you can just give a little bit about your story of how you got to Puerto Morelos. What you know, if you would change anything, you have a unique experience because you built, well, you bought, sold, built, and rented. So you can share information on that. But just like, give us a little background and your story.
Okay, been here 7 years. retired down here, have been traveling down here since like 2000, and just really fell in love with the area. And yeah, we did. We bought a house 7 years ago, sold it, rented, and built another house that we've been in for 2 years now. So whoever just said Jonathan's building yours, he built ours 2 years ago. So we've been in, it's been about 2.5 years actually. So that's our story here.
And Donna, what are you, so you're retired, correct?
Yes, both of us.
And one thing that retired people ask me is if they're going to get bored in Puerto Morelos.
If they're gonna make what?
If they're going to be bored in Puerto Morelos.
Oh, no. There's always something to do. You can find something. I mean, it's you don't even have to look. There's charities if you want to get involved. There's places to go, people to meet with, groups that do all kinds of things. So, it just depends on what you're interested in doing, whether it's golfing or whether it's playing mahjong or whether it's working with the schools or the animal rescues or just walking on the beach, whatever you choose.
And Donna, you don't speak Spanish. Do you speak Spanish now?
Enough to get by. Let's leave it at that.
And did you find that a real challenge to get around to get things done without Spanish?
No, you work it out. You find people who can translate, and as you live here longer, you learn what you need to know. I'm not conversational, but I can do pretty much anything I need to do now. I can, if it's on the phone, it's still a little difficult, but I don't have any problem otherwise. Yeah, find a friend.
That's true.
There's enough people here that are so totally bilingual. Find a friend.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Cheers. Salute. We need more drinks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
If we're gonna drink after everyone talks, this could take a while.
I like that idea.
Yeah. All right. Caroline and John, are you here? Now I just lost them.
We're here.
Oh, there you are. You moved on my screen. Caroline and John are joining us tonight from New Mexico. They are there they got their vaccines actually. They went back to their other home, but they live almost full time now in Puerto Morelos, and I'll let you tell your story.
Yeah, for sure. We're happy to live in Puerto Morelos now for 10 years. We did still maintain a home here in New Mexico. We're really not sure why, but we still have it as an asset. So that helps us come back and forth a little bit. And I've brought a New Mexico posse with me tonight, Kim. There are several of my friends on the call tonight. Hi, New Mexico friends. Hi, Tish. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, New Mexico people.
Yes, but people that are also have talked to me over the years about moving to Mexico and what it means and what it looks like. So we've been there 10 years. We bought our first home in Mexico. It's near the beach. We're 100 steps from Wet Feet, and we absolutely love it. There's a little bit of an age difference between us. So John was already retired when we got there, and I worked these last 10 years and retired in August. So I've just retired. We're now both retired, which is super fun. We're remodeling our house. And we love Jonathan as well, but I have a different builder that's doing my remodel job for me. Very professional and things that you would normally see, portfolio, a program, deposits, all that sort of stuff, but everything's in cash here. And I'm sure Kim will address that shortly, but so it's a cash market, no matter what you do. What else, honey? Oh, we bought our second house in the Colonia in Puerto Morelos from Kim and Gabrielle. And it's a small 2-bedroom, and we're so blessed that our 27-year-old daughter with our granddaughter decided to move into it. And their husband, Garrett, they all live in it in Puerto. And then I also have a cousin who said, yeah, we love it. They visited us 2 or 3 times, and now they bought a house. So we're building a family pod in Puerto Morelos. We didn't mean to.
They didn't just buy a house, they moved full time. They sold everything and they're here. Yeah.
Both of them sold everything and moved to Puerto, yeah. So it's pretty cool. Do you have anything you want to?
No, you pretty much
Wow.
covered it. You know, the only thing that I found difficult in buying houses and then later on adding on to it or building onto it, it's going to be kind of difficult if all your documentation isn't right from the very beginning. And we're going through that right now with the remodeling for months already. Permits, you have to have permits, you know, that are recently dated and that it shows your property exactly the way it is, you know, the right square meters and all the codes and all that. So it's been a little challenging, but it's something that we'll get through. But I just want to let you know that if your documentation isn't right at the very beginning, it's going to be a little hard down the road, but it's doable.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. And I know that Kim and Gabe will address it, but it's, you know, the properties have to have their paperwork in order. And they'll make sure that you have correct paperwork before you would even put your money on the table. That's the key. But yeah, it's great. And thanks for coming, you guys.
So Caroline, I just want you to talk a little bit about work. You worked full-time here, you worked remotely. And how did that work for you? Because I think there are a lot of people thinking about doing that.
Sure. Yeah, that US income or Canadian income in the country of Mexico is a pretty sweet deal, by the way. So if you're able to maintain your employment outside of the country, it's a bonus for you. If you can do the virtual work, it's fantastic. I had good internet. I did have to chase that the first couple of years, and it's since stabilized quite a bit. Over 10 years, I've noticed significant improvement in the fiber optics and everything within our village. So I think we're really fortunate. There are others on the call here that are still working as well, that we all are using internet and voice over internet, phone, we're using just everything. Internet is fine for working. And I was with a global corporation and travel all over the world type of a deal right out of Cancun. It didn't stop me from growing or building or doing my business in any way, shape, or form. It was fantastic. But I'm glad to be retired.
Years. Now we have to drink to that.
Oh.
Hey, I had a lot of margaritas. Cheers.
I have a question for Caroline.
Yes.
Now that you're back in the States, have you gotten yourself some Nilla wafers?
I am not going back to Puerto Morelos without Nilla wafers. Thank you. You're off the hook.
There are a few things you can't get in Puerto Morelos, and one of them, or Mexico even, Caroline wanted some vanilla wafers, and she couldn't get them. They were really expensive, so that's where this discussion is.
$45 for 10-ounce box of Nilla wafers. Come on now. I mean, I make a good rum ball, but hey, that's crazy.
You can get pretty much everything, but not vanilla wafers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions for Caroline and John? Or I guess we can open it up later after we talk.
Oh, especially if you're golfers, he's the one, he knows all the courses.
Oh.
I do.
Okay, Steve and Lisa, you're up. Can you guys introduce yourself and tell us your story?
Yeah, so we moved here 3.5 years ago from Colorado, and we sold everything that we had and banked on the place that Kim and Gabrielle sold us. We've been super happy being here. Like Caroline before she retired, we work full time. We also work for a global company, and all of our work is remote. We've actually both been remote for a number of years. So the transition to that was, nothing too difficult. And like Caroline said too, we got the fiber optic internet, and we get 200 gigabits download, and it's actually cheaper than what we were paying in the States for much less. Trying to think what else you asked Kim about what we wanted.
Like how have you found moving into Puerto Morelos? I mean, has it been hard to meet people or make friends, or?
The complete opposite.
Yeah. The one thing we have is more friends than
We've ever
when we
had.
have time to do, which is a good problem to have. I mean, the people here are so great, and there's so many people have helped us with just little things here and there. It's hard to walk down the street and not see somebody and say hello, or go to the grocery store and catch up real quick. It's been pretty remarkable for us. Difficulties, I think, are
Language.
I think the language is, and it's probably our own personal kind of want to be able to speak in the native language. I mean, we get by just fine, but we want to be able to communicate in the native language a lot better. And but so that's something we're progressing and we're learning and trying our best to do. But yeah, the community is really good, and we're really enjoying the decision we made.
Awesome.
And we're also going through, Caroline and John, a big kitchen. Well, our kitchen isn't as big, but a complete remodel of our kitchen with Jonathan, and he's been so amazing to work with. He's just fantastic. So we're super excited about that, and we have no hesitations about it. I mean, he's been really upfront in everything that we need to know and understand.
And so when you guys moved, you didn't move any, you sold your house, but you didn't move like furniture down here, did you?
We did not.
Was
We
just-
were thinking about it, and we actually looked into it. I had contacted Hyde Shipping and had talked to them. Yeah, I had talked to them about the process and everything. And we decided really, we just had to wait, and it's been fine. Like, we haven't really needed anything down here.
Yeah.
We didn't either.
Yeah.
I was gonna just jump in. We didn't bring a lot with us to begin with, but over 10 years, I've moved a lot of my household goods, like by suitcase, year over year. Oh, I want those, lobster cutting scissors, or whatever crazy stuff I have. I want all this stuff. And so over the years, platters and bowls and things that I use a lot because I cook a lot. So all my little fancy weird things that I have in gadgets and stuff, over the years, we've brought a lot down, but we didn't bring a lot to begin with at all.
And that was us too. I mean, every time, we still have 2 storage units in Colorado.
Right.
So every time we go back, we go back with maybe 98 pounds, and we come back with 198 pounds. So we always bring 2 empty bags with us. And also, not only our stuff that's in storage, but there's beautiful malls in Cancun that we will go to on occasion, but you don't have your Target, you don't have your you have your Walmart, but your Bed Bath & Beyond, with those stores that you love. So I find that when we go back, I'm online or I'm in Target ordering, and I end up bringing back a whole bunch of things. And some of it's the convenience here, right? Like, as an example, and it's just me and it's my hang up, but I am not comfortable myself driving up into Cancun. And it's fine to do it. Again, it's a little bit different than when we lived in the States, right? Like, every day I'd go to stores and things like that. And, but so again, for us, it's a little bit of the convenience that we miss a little bit, but actually we're saving money because we're not buying as much as we would.
It's less convenience is better for your
Right.
pocket.
Yeah.
Although now we have
and-
Amazon Mexico, so now
Yeah.
We've
there
been
goes
having
that
really good
saving.
luck.
Good
We've
Amazon.
been having really good luck with that recently. They never
We've
could
had
find
great
us.
luck with it.
Yeah, they never could find us and now they know where we are. So the last like 2 to
You're
3
in
weeks,
trouble.
we've been ordering quite a bit.
Yeah, and I was chasing the DHL guy, a few months ago, and now everything comes and it's really good. And one thing I'll say that hasn't been mentioned is the healthcare is really good. And Kim, maybe you've talked about that in previous sessions and everything, but I really feel like, the level of education and the facilities and everything else, because that's a question that probably a lot of people have, that,
Yeah.
you get your cold and, we actually purchased, health insurance. We haven't used yet, but we
No, I haven't either.
got it here. And, but if you go and you can get your, your prescriptions, you get stuff checked out. We actually, Lisa had a bad bout of things a couple of years ago, and the doctor actually came to the house 3 times.
Yeah.
So anyway, so just to alleviate any kind of concerns about that, and we bought a car when we were down here. After about 3 months, we bought a car, and we've got the car insurance and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean there's some adventure to it, but all in all, it's been really good.
Awesome. Thank you.
As a foreigner, can you buy like Mexican health insurance when you go there, or how does that work?
Well, the funny thing is that because we still work for a company in the United States, well, it's a global company, but we work from the headquarters there. We still have health insurance, so anything major, we actually do go back, like our annual checkups and things like that. But the concern was, something happens down here, and it's
Car accident.
just something that we'd want to have some extra coverage here. So we did that, and yeah, luckily we haven't used it, but yeah.
And it covers the 2 private hospitals in Cancun. So 2 of the best, right, Kim? I mean, Galenia and Hospital. I mean, so that's the good thing.
So there's
know what everybody else is. Oh, sorry, but we use a U.S. John's retired military, so we use U.S. insurance. We have to pay up front, and then we get reimbursed.
Oh, that's
So
great.
that's what we're doing. But I think that to Steve's point, in terms of the care, and I have been hospitalized in 10 years. I have been hospitalized there and had a great experience, no problem. Been to clinics multiple times. And now, of course, that I have a daughter and granddaughter there, they get hurt periodically on the beach. We've been in and out of clinics quite a bit. So I don't have any problem with any of the healthcare that I receive as well.
Any of you dealt with pre-existing conditions with insurance?
Yeah, they don't cover pre-existing conditions here. That's the one thing. And their insurance is quite a bit different than it is in the States. I mean, yeah.
And the interesting thing is the policy we have covers every country in the world except the
US.
But yeah, you have to disclose a lot of that kind of stuff. But really, we're looking for not those, I guess, bad things that we would head back. It's like, like Lisa said, the car accident, or broken arm or something like that.
As far as the clinics and the hospitals.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay.
As far as the clinics and the hospitals, if you are still learning the language, are there people there that speak English, and is not going to be a problem in emergency situations?
Generally speaking, there's enough people that are bilingual that you can get by. We've also found a lot of friends that can come to your aid, can help you out, and and then that's part of like just being part of the community and being friendly and everything else. We had a friend who actually had a heart attack, and he got picked up by an ambulance, went down, and it just wasn't a problem. I mean, you know, you never want to say, you know, my arm is broken when your knee is really broken, but, you know, you can get by.
Sure.
And I have found, especially at the hospitals, that people speak English. Usually the doctors speak English. Caroline, yeah.
I have a couple of questions. My name's Tish, and I'm one of Caroline's friends here in New Mexico. And so one question I have is fairly serious, and one is going to be more tongue in cheek. But for the serious one first, as a gay woman, how is the gay community there, and is that any sort of issue? Because here in Albuquerque, it's just, we're like integrated within the bigger community. There's not like a gay district, or, you know, it's just like, it's just not a thing. So I'd want to know what that's like as I'm considering moving. And the other thing is that I'm sober and everybody's drinking. So is there a good sober community? I mean, can you have fun even if you don't have a drink in your hand? So that's, I guess, my tongue in cheek question.
Well, I can answer one of those really well, and that's the sober one. When we originally came here, I came with my mom, who was at that point like 18 years sober, and her first group of people here were the AA group. There was an English-speaking AA group, and those became her really good friends. And I think that that's only grown in terms of yes. I mean, and honestly, now more and more people are choosing to be, you know, sober. It's not uncool anymore, right? It's less difficult. So I don't think that's an issue at all. There certainly is. I mean, a lot of people who just get retired, I feel like there's this like little adolescence excitement period. You move to Mexico and you're partying all the time. But that seems to mellow out. And there's so many other things to do, right? There's the charities and the travel, and it's not all around bars. There's other community get-togethers that aren't alcohol centered. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about that.
Go ahead.
Anyone else?
What's my name? Go ahead, talk. Tish, my name's Keith. This is my husband, Bruce. We can talk about your first question you asked about the gay community here. We moved here 7 months ago. We sold or gave away everything we had in the United States and moved down here. And since we've got here, we've bought a car, bought a house. Jonathan's remodeling our house. We've been.
Jonathan's busy.
Yeah, he is.
Good guy.
He's too busy. If you need somebody else, I can help you.
But as far as the gay community here is concerned, we've been surprised at the number of gay people that are in Puerto Morelos, not only expats that live here, but also locals that live here. We have felt very comfortable here. There is one little organization or little group that we know of that has, you know, sort of a get-togethers kind of specifically for the LGBT community. Not really right now because of the pandemic and restrictions that are going on, but you know, hopefully soon things will get a little bit back to normal. But no, we felt very comfortable here. There are, like I said, more gay people here than you would expect in a town this size. And then, of course, in Playa del Carmen, there's a neighborhood in the Centro that is a gay neighborhood. And when we go there, I mean, that's like being, I mean, we're from Atlanta, so I mean, it's like being in the gay neighborhood in Atlanta.
Being gay or lesbian in Puerto Morelos is a non-issue.
So Keith and Bruce, since
Hi
we're
there.
on you want to tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. Like I just said, we were living in Atlanta or just outside of Atlanta, and there is an age difference between the two of us. So for us to have any sort of retired life together, I couldn't afford to retire at my age in the US, so we had to find a place to live where I could retire very early and we could afford to have a nice life. So we decided on Mexico.
I'm the old one.
He's the old one. We we're going to sell everything we own. That was our plan, but then coronavirus happened, and it was difficult to sort of try to disengage ourselves from our lives in the United States during the lockdown. So we actually wound up giving away a lot of our stuff just to be rid of it. But we gave away everything we owned. We didn't ask people to give us money, and in return for giving items to them, we asked them to support pet rescue group here in Puerto Morelos. So we were able to raise a little bit of money for one of the local charities here.
That's nice.
Sold our cars, sold our house, and packed some suitcases, put the cat in a cat carrier, and came down here and got here July 31st of last year.
One of the key things is we had come down here about a year prior to actually moving. And we came down twice. We came in July of 2019, and then again at Christmas. We met people, and those people we met include Kim, Gabrielle, some other people. But the people you meet here will be so incredibly helpful to your transition.
Yeah.
And not only the other expats that you meet here, but locals that you meet. There is always somebody here who is willing to help you with something. It's a wonderful community. We bought a house in the Colonia that needed quite a bit of work done to it, and Jonathan's doing the remodel right now. I did want to say something about the health insurance also. We bought a travel policy for our first year that we're down here in Mexico. So if we have any medical expenses that, major medical expenses that crop up, we'll have to pay for those out of pocket, and then we can file a claim for reimbursement. And right now, as we're approaching, or as we get closer to our 1-year anniversary here, we're going to have to decide what we want to do, if we want to do something like that again, or if we want to try to do private insurance, or we're also looking into signing up with the EAMS program here in Mexico, which is the nationalized healthcare. And the one thing, the little sort of speed bump we had with that is having our birth certificates here with us in Mexico, but they've not been apostilled. And I hope I'm saying that word right. I don't know. It's
apostille. Yeah.
What is it, Kim?
Apostille.
Oh, apostille.
Apostille. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apostille. That was a new one for me. And I did get our birth certificate apostilled in the United States before we came down here, because I thought we would need it for our immigration process. But I didn't even think about getting our birth certificates apostilled.
And what is that?
It is sending your legal document, like a marriage certificate or a birth certificate, to a specific office in the state where it was issued, where they verify the authenticity of the document. And it has to do with countries that are members of the Hague Convention. Thank you, Cam. So if you guys are coming down here, or anyone who's thinking about moving down here, I would recommend your marriage certificate, if you're married, and your birth certificates, that you have them
apostilled. Yeah.
Before you come to Mexico, because it's a lot easier to do it while you're still in the States.
That's good advice. I never thought about telling people that. That's good advice.
I have a question on that, because I'm actually getting an apostille right now for power of attorney. But so if you get an apostille on your birth certificate or your marriage license, you actually have to send the original back to the state where it was issued to have an apostille.
Yes.
Not a copy, but the original. That kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of scared me too. When we've been together for, this year will be 21 years. But we only got married last year because, of course, for a long time after we were together, it wasn't legal in the United States for us to get married. And then even after it was legal, there were some considerations that we just decided not to. But then when we were getting ready to move to Mexico, we decided that it might be a good idea for us to be legally married. So our one year anniversary is coming up next month. So when we got married, we asked for extra copies of the marriage certificate from our county, so that the one that I sent to be apostilled would not be my only copy. And what I did with the birth certificates, after we got down here in Mexico, I realized that we needed to have those apostilled as well. And we only had one copy each. So I was really afraid to take that one copy of each of our birth certificates and FedEx it back to the United States, because God knows what's going to happen to it. So I actually ordered certified copies from both of our states where we were born and got extra copies. And they're in the process of being apostilled now, but I've got extra copies of everything. If I had one copy of something, I don't think I'd want to put it in the mail and send it away either.
Makes sense.
Cannot underscore enough what he just said about documentation. It is a paper society, and they really want to see all your papers. So that was a really important point, I think, that you just shared, because people don't realize how important that legitimate or official documentation is. And in your move to Mexico, it will be really important.
And Caroline, just to add on to that, you know, I put my name on like the electricity bill. Lisa put hers on the water bill. I have the car in my name, and she's, you know, so you each have the documentation, you know, the proof of address, if you will.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
We went with John Caroline Gallegos. John Caroline Gallegos.
Smart. Smart.
That's funny.
Yeah, that you can't put both of your names on a water bill. It has to be one name.
Yeah, I think it is just one name. That anyway, that's what we chose to do when we set it up, and it was a long time ago.
I think the only thing we have that's in both of our names is the deed to the house. The car has to be registered in one name, and I think the utility is one name. So. And insurance, the insurance has to be in one name also.
So I got nothing.
He's got.
So then you should, like Steve was saying, you should mix things up so that you both have.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. And I think the other really good piece of advice that we've gotten here, which is no different from being home in the United States, but it's something that people often put off for obvious reasons, is to go ahead and have a will done. Have a will done here in Mexico that'll be recognized in the Mexican courts here. So, you know, if your car is in one spouse's name and that person dies, that there's no question about whose property that's going to be.
That's good advice. And if you do it in September, you get 50% off. Yeah. Raquel, you're up. You guys are up.
My name is Raquel. I'm from Ontario, and my husband is from Northern Ireland. And we've been in Puerto from July 2019, and we bought a house in Colonia, and Jonathan, of course, renovated it. And we're so happy with it. We love it. He did a fantastic job, and we're adjusting to life down here, and it's a big adventure, and we're having fun, and there's challenges, but all in all, we're happy.
And you guys have a great YouTube channel. What's the name of your YouTube?
Thanks, Kim. Rick Rack Travels.
Rick Rack Travels. And so they've been doing some day trips and stuff, and just showing some cool things about Puerto Morelos, which I think is really helpful. And so so you guys your whole life is here now. Did you moved here?
We sold our home, and my mother actually is in the process of moving down here. Same as Carolyn's family, we're bringing them all down. But yeah, we're here. We're trying to learn Spanish, working hard at that, making some progress, and yeah.
I just wanted to be clear, Raquel. I am not promoting or recruiting my family. They come to visit and they fall in love. I don't want to be responsible for anybody's move south of the border.
Same as with our family and friends. How do you not fall in love with it here? It's amazing community.
And have you found it easy to find, you know, friends and things to do, and what's your experience been like?
Generally, but it's honestly been difficult with the pandemic because we don't want to socialize, and so it's an odd time frame when we move down here, and so a little bit we're bubbleized, what we're comfortable with at the minute. So yeah, we make online friends on YouTube. We don't go out in real life.
But we do have lots of friends down here.
Yes. No, it is easy enough. Just 2020 was a strange year.
Very strange. And I didn't think about that for you, because I feel like we met you probably at like a Christmas giveaway or the Christmas gift
The Mexican.
giveaway or the pet food. Yeah. And so we used to have, in non-COVID times around town, we have a lot of community events like that, or there's like a community dinner or a, margarita making contest or the chili cook-off. So those are great opportunities to, when COVID's not an issue, to go and meet a lot of people. It just kind of gets everyone together in a non-threatening, thing, and you just end up meeting people. It's kind of cool.
It's nice. And then we did go to Horseshoes for a little while, but again, with COVID precautions and so forth, we just didn't feel comfortable anymore, or pickleball, but there's tons of stuff to get involved in. There's no issue there.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said the pickleball. So many Canadians I know are playing the pickleball. And I've resisted going out to the beach to join them, but I get invited like weekly to go join some pickleball thing, which sounds very weird, unless it has vodka with the pickle juice. I'm not sure the value of it.
It's not on the beach. There's one thing you're confused about. It's like on a court. I've never heard of it before, but I've recently been educated.
Yes.
On pickleball.
Hey, Raquel,
but they do a lot of beach stuff, which I think is very cool.
Raquel, can you speak of some of those challenges that you mentioned and how you overcame them?
I think for us, it was just learning the ways of things, like how do you get your gas filled up? How do you get your water delivered? Like little things that are just second nature to us now. But at first it's like, oh my God, we ran out of gas. We're cooking the turkey, and yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just, and practicing our Spanish too. We were so shy at first with our terrible accent, but you just have to dive in, and it gets easier as you go on. And like people have mentioned before, everyone's so helpful. And we're blessed to have Mexican friends who have been very generous with their time in helping us. So that's been great.
And the one thing we would have done that we didn't do would have been to apply for residency before we left Canada, because we had to fly back to Canada. And if the rules are still the same, once you come back into Mexico, you've got 30 days to process that.
Yeah.
If I can piggyback real quick, just on what Raquel was saying about like the little everyday things that you take for granted, and then here it's like, it's new, and how do you do it? Like the water and the gas and all that. I think anything can be accomplished in Mexico with WhatsApp. It's so important for everything. We get our water, we get our gas. If you need a taxi, you WhatsApp. So if I were doing it over again and I were moving to Mexico, I would try to leverage my contacts that I already had here, or like the Facebook groups, and I would go ahead and get that information and get it into my phone. Because I mean, we kind of landed here, on July 31st last year, and it was like I didn't even know, and it was pandemic and lockdown, and I'm like, what are we going to do for dinner? And who do I contact to bring me some food, and how do I do it? The WhatsApp is awesome. And the other thing I wanted to say, there's been a couple of comments about learning Spanish, or if you're concerned about learning the Spanish. We took classes in the United States before we moved down here through our local Latin American Association, which was very helpful. And then I don't know if I can plug the school or not, Kim. I'm not going to say the name unless you tell me it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. There is a local language school in Puerto Morelos. There's a couple of them, but the one that we just started at last week, and we've been to 2 classes so far, and we really, really like it, is the Lenin Institute. And it's in the Colonia, and their prices from our perspective are very affordable. So if you're worried about, language acquisition once you get here, there's a school you can go to and take Spanish classes pretty cheap.
And in addition to that, there's also people who are teaching, who have little small groups that are teaching it around town, or you can do it online, all of those ways, none of which I'm doing. I'm even married.
Or your bilingual husband may like you to suffer, and he wants you to suffer. And so he makes you like go to the grocery and speak in Spanish in front of him and use the wrong words and look like a dummy. But you learn. You do learn.
I have heard immersion's the best way. So Gabriel, you just have to not speak English at all and around.
That's right.
He's tried.
And Ellen, are you looking at coming to Puerto like permanently? We have this amazing relationship on Facebook, but it would be amazing to be your neighbor.
Oh, Ellen has her microphone off.
Oh, you have your microphone on mute.
Okay. Yes. I can't see you because I only can see 9 people, but we always love coming to Puerto Morelos, and we would love to see if there's something that we could do to get there. We love Mexico.
Been there since '88.
Yeah, it's been, I think when we met you was about 6 years ago, my niece's wedding. Yeah. So I know, I heard your name. I'm like, I can't see you. Yes, we would love to. And we loved your house when we saw it. So
yeah,
it's beautiful. I can't wait to see what you're doing.
So I wanted to we have one more person here who beats everyone on the old timer scale. Not because she's old, but because she's been around a long time. Val McGovern.
Come on, Val.
Hello. Unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. I was just wondering if I was going to be talking. Oh my God. Margarita's in.
Shut up, Val.
She's been celebrating Margarita Day.
And Artie says, hey, Joe Major. Hola, hola.
Artie party.
Artie party.
Party.
Yeah, Kim, what? I was just thinking 22 years. Been coming here. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, big step. I tell you, I have been doing internet stuff at an internet cafe because there was no internet here.
Right.
To watching the odd houses here and there getting internet, and then buying at Las Tortugas, getting actual internet, and then coming out here to Casamaya. I own a couple of properties here. I'm from Alberta, Canada.
Very, very cold north.
Yes, very, very. We're an hour away from the beginning of the Mile Zero Highway to Alaska. So all you Americans, I'm very close to really buttfuck nowhere. Very.
Got it.
I'm a little bit different than everybody else because I don't live here full time. I'm only here in the winter and a lot of times in the fall. So I do winter. I like to be here in October around Halloween. I'm in Canada for all of summer and December. So, but I've been coming a long time, and this, Puerto Morelos is part of my heart. I can't even explain anything else. Mexicans, the way of life, the feeling here. I can't. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I mean, I don't have anything else to say, but you can get internet, you can get healthcare, it's safe here. I'm safer here. I asked my kids, Trudeau's changing everything, closing down borders, getting rid of this, doing that. What do you want me to do? They said, stay in Mexico, Mom. You're safer, you're happier, stay there. So I don't know. Any questions? I mean, I have a wealth of
Yeah, hey Val, this is John, Sergeant Major.
Hi, Sergeant Major.
What do you do with your golf cart when you're gone?
It's right here. It's right here. It's parked in the part. Artie washes it once a week. It's safe. It's good.
I think there's a negotiation going on Kim's Zoom call.
John wants that golf cart.
He wants my golf cart. Well, I might need to upgrade. I don't know. You need an 8-person or a 6-person golf cart? Well, I've had up to 12 people on it, so I called it a 12-person.
I'm sure that's illegal.
It is. It's very illegal, especially when you're all drunk and an 11-year-old's driving it. The police don't really like it very much.
Illegal, but maybe we would consider it.
As long as Artie's driving it, it's legal.
He's 12 now.
Thank you, Kim.
Oh, no.
I'm
You
kidding.
get a scuba diving license now.
Yeah. No,
I think for those of you that are like witnessing this weirdness, it's because of something I think that Bruce mentioned earlier. It's community. Steve mentioned as well. We're friends. Like I'm not hanging out with Keith and Bruce every day, or Steve and Lisa every day, but I know them and they would help me and would care for me and would recognize me. And I have a sense of community that I've actually never had anywhere I have ever lived. At the same time, I can also stay in my home and be anonymous and have my own privacy. There's lots of things you all don't know about me, even though I have a little bit of an online presence. The sense of community and the sense of humor from Val just now. I mean, this is the way we live. Very fun, joyous.
So right. And I wanted to say, I've been sitting here and this has been a long time. I've had a lot of things going on in my life because my former husband and I came here 22 years ago. And we own a few properties here, and still, even though we're in the middle of separation and divorce, I was thinking back to why I moved here. And the reason why I moved here is because of the Mexican community. I wanted my children to know how important family is, how important relationship is, how important, I came back from Canada with COVID and people are like, I'm an anti-masker. I'm not wearing masks. Oh, this is bullshit. Or you're an asshole for not wearing. It's not like that here.
Nope.
The people who wear the masks are the people they're the Mexicans. They're respectful. They honor you, whether they believe it or not. There's like, okay, I'm just going to wear it because this is what, I don't know. It's just something about being here, being around Mexican people, being about them, putting family first, putting a relationship first. They can be so mad at their uncle and hate them so much, but it's family. It's family. We don't do that to family.
Really good point.
What I treasure and honor most. I mean, I can talk about my house. I can talk about my condo. I can talk about the problems that I'm having because I don't have proper construction license with my house. I have to re-register everything in case, like I can talk about all that. But the most important thing, I think it's all been covered, healthcare, internet, all that stuff. But it's the whole Mexican community and the way that the Mexicans love and honor. There's good and bad in everyone, don't get me wrong. However, I look and I see the good and the positive and the love. I can't even go on about it. It is the reason why I own here. It's the reason why I come back. It's the reason why this property is on my side of the divorce chart because I love it here. And the people, I love it here. And unless you come here and experience it and know it, you cannot honor it. And that's the people that say, oh, Mexico's bad, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You need to stay where you are.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea what it's like here. You have no idea what the people are like. And Kim, I knew your mom. And I know you. And Gabrielle. And Sergeant Major. And Caroline. And like, we're all community, right? We're all community. And
We're all community.
That's the beautiful part about Mexico. And I mean, I never really thought about it until 3 margaritas in and my special pub. Anyway, I love it here so much. And I cry when I come here and I cry when I leave because I absolutely friggin' love it here. I love it.
Yeah. I do think thank you so much because that was beautiful. And I think you really said what a lot of us feel. And I think that it is hard to put into words what's special about Puerto Morelos sometimes, but it really is the people. I mean, it's this culture and the people and this, for me, I was talking to a client today and I was saying like, it's the pace of life here is so much more sane, for one thing. And when somebody says mi casa is su casa, they mean it. Like people go out of their way for you in a way that I've never experienced before. So yes, like there are some annoying things. You know, when I first moved here, there was no bank in Puerto Morelos. I had to drive to Cancun 4 times to open a bank account. Like
grocery store.
There was no grocery store. Like all that was less than ideal, and I would get frustrated. But the other side of it is there's so many more amazing things to be grateful for than the things that are difficult to understand, and they just have a different priority. It's just like, I mean, Gabrielle gets upset too, but it's like streamlining processes is not a high priority for anybody. You know, it's just different than what we're used to, but it's also beautiful. So I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, and I am 100% with you. I was thinking, what can I say to add to what everybody says? It's just the love of this little town and the people, and yeah, I get sad when I leave. Like I'm sad. I'm already thinking, oh, I got to go home and I got to go back in January. I don't want to go back. I love it.
Kim, I got a question if I could ask. I know Rick and Raquel live in the Colonia because I've seen every one of their videos.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of wondering, where do most of the other people live? Are you in the port side or are you on the colonial side? And when you get together with people and when we're not in COVID, do you go more to the port side restaurants or the colonial restaurants? And just kind of curious where everybody is. I'm going to be pretty well there for 6 months in the winter all the time. So I'm just kind of wondering where everybody's living and where they tend to hang out.
Bring items to your suitcase.
Well, I want to say I hang out at Casa Maya and Mi Casa Su Casa. Anybody would like to come for a drink? This is my house. You all know where I live. You all know Casa Maya. It's like one of the oldest properties here, one of the. And we hang out in the Colonia. We go to places in the Colonia.
Yeah, like now like every Sunday, I think there's like a local game, a baseball local game.
Oh.
They are called the Mantarrayas or Barracudas or whatever is the name of them.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen some Americans hanging out there, and after that I play soccer. So
yeah, so you can go there.
After that.
Or you can go for dinner in town here on the port side. I mean, there's some live music and they're really respectful of space and masks and cleanliness and checking your temperature and all of that. So don't think that that's not still followed. Yeah, there's lots of places, in my opinion, like I've been here, in my experience, I've been here for quite a while during COVID. And everybody's pretty respectful of space and masks, don't you think? Don't you all think that are here?
Yeah.
Colonia and Portside?
Yeah.
Lots of places.
I would say, Harry, I have a property in the Colonia and on the port side, both. I have my daughter and my cousin, they live in the Colonia. I happen to live in the port. We go to restaurants on both sides. Of course, the port side is going to maybe be higher, a little more expensive because it is the, sort of the gem of our town. So those restaurants we should expect are going to have a view and better chefs and whatever. But there are some diamonds in the rough and fantastic food opportunities in the Colonia. And the folks who live on both, we all go to both sides, I think, is what I would say. Like I have my favorite restaurants in the Colonia and I have my favorite restaurants on the port side. Both have good options and both have good pricing.
Yeah.
But then I just wanted to add too, like with friends, we just go have a barbecue and hang out in the backyard. It's not all restaurants or whatever. And some fantastic places though, both sides for definite. But I like Colonia.
And I'm on the in-between. we are in one of the gated communities off the highway. So it's a whole different situation than Colonia or Portside, but it's got its great benefits too.
Yeah, I don't think there's, I don't know, yeah, that's a hard question to answer because I think, you know, you're always going to run into people on the beach, right? I mean, that's where you're probably going to run into the most people at the beach clubs or on the beach. But the restaurants are fantastic everywhere. And we, you know, we have game night with friends, or we, you know, go to someone's house for dinner. Gabrielle and I don't cook very much, so we go out a little too much, but sometimes we'll just get a chicken from the chicken lady and bring it home, or, you know, I don't know, people go everywhere. There's great there's too many good restaurants, honestly, for such a small town. And then if we want to,
and if you cook, if you cook, because I know you don't cook, hon. If you cook, there are some really great places to buy fresh produce of every variety. I shop in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and everything in between in order to get what I want, except vanilla wafers. But I mean, I shop all over the whole area, whether it's 30 minutes south or 30 minutes north, and I can get just about whatever I'd like to design a meal.
Oh, I was going to say, just down from Costco, if anybody is interested, Catriona Brown, you know, Kat, she's been cooking Vietnamese. So we have been sourcing out Chinese and Asian food markets. So there's a place that you can buy all of the stuff. I bought miso soup base. I bought everything. So it's really a big change from when I first moved here. Absolutely everything. Yeah. I don't think you guys have covered in town. You've covered on the Colonia side. I live directly beachfront, and there is an amazing experience living on the ocean. There's something, I come down the stairs in the morning and I give thanks every morning for the home, the view, the water, everything. However, it's a ton of maintenance. It's a ton of, upkeep when you live right on the water.
True.
Just so y'all know, it's beautiful to visit, but to live, you got to be prepared for that. And if anybody has any questions about that, I still live here. I've owned Casa Maya now, and it's solely mine now for, I think, Kim, do you remember? Like, it's insane. Like, people say aluminum rusts. Hell yeah.
Everything rusts.
Hell yeah.
Everything rusts.
Done. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's benefits to living here. However, if you have any questions or if you're curious about, I often thought about, I should sell Casa Maya and live in the jungle. No, I love being on the water. It's worth every penny I've spent on this home. So if anybody has any questions about living on the beach, right oceanfront, I'm willing to answer any of them, because they're completely different than living in the Colonia, living in one of the gated communities, living in the jungle, even living a couple of streets off of the beach. Completely different property off of the beach as well. So
James, she wants the house, James Hild. Just get her the house. I can see her. She wants the house.
I have the house, baby. Don't you worry about that. She's mine. Mi casa, mi casa.
No, I'm talking to James and his wife.
Yeah. Oh, you're so sweet.
What's I think maybe what would be helpful is to say, like, is there anything you would do different in your move or your decision to move or the actual process of moving that might be helpful to people?
I would do one thing differently. I would, had I had the opportunity, become a resident before I left. I would register for that because of the tax benefits, because of, I could open a bank account, I can buy a vehicle. I would do that all, I would do that before I left. If I knew I was moving here, I would do that differently.
Speaking on that, having my permanent residency has been one of the greatest things. I don't have to worry about going back and forth.
Yeah.
We've got everything here with the bank accounts, like you said, the car. Believe it or not, because we're permanent residents, we both got our vaccines here last week.
Yeah.
So something that we would have never gotten in the States.
Yeah. So true.
I got mine last week, my first one. So hopefully we'll be able to get his next month.
Us younger people have to wait.
So sorry.
All right, so you get your residency. Anything else?
For me, this is a bit of a silly thing, but I ordered a SIM card from, is it Telmex? From Amazon.ca because I wanted to have a Mexican phone number as soon as I landed, and it's bloody Mexico City. So half the stores in Colonia won't top me up. There's only certain places, or when we're traveling even, it's a real pain. Ricky's got a local number and it's easy peasy, but yeah, it's a bummer. But I'm emotionally attached to my number now, so.
You made a commitment.
I've made a commitment.
That's funny. What else, you guys?
May I just ask a question? We're going to be moving down soon. And because we won't really know anyone that can help us out yet with going and getting utilities turned on and all of that, is there service that you can hire to help you with that? Like,
well, you're going to be renting, right? Before you build? Is that what you're, so that's all it's all going to be hooked up. You're not going to have to do anything.
So then hopefully by the time our house is done, we'll have enough people to beg to come help us get things done.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can give you information on that too.
Terrific.
That's the thing I know. It's funny because a lot of people who are clients and they bought or they're thinking of moving, they get real, well, Keith and Bruce are going to laugh, get real stressed out and want to know everything, how it's all going to work. And sometimes I forget that everything's so strange because I'm used to it now. But really, nothing has to happen right away. That's kind of the beauty of Mexico. Like you move, you buy a place, and they don't care whose name is on the account. They're not turning off not even getting a beer as fast, Gabrielle says, at a restaurant. So you don't have to. There's nothing you have to do right away. Like they don't care who's paying the bill as long as someone's paying the bill. You don't have to change the utilities right away. Like all of that stuff takes some time. We don't even have the paperwork to do it until a few weeks after you close anyway to do part of it. So part of the fun, right? You don't have to learn everything in advance. You're going to get here and you're going to experience it. And that's part of the fun. And also you gain confidence because you figured it out. I mean, I remember, I know it's scary, but really you're not going to fall through the cracks and not have electricity, you know. We're going to take care of you and your community is going to take care of you, but you can figure it out and you can have fun with it. It's kind of cool, really.
Actually, Kim, the mantra I have when I first came here, especially after meeting Ken and Kathy because he was waiting for gas, was hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Because you have one thing that Mexico has taught me is patience. They do.
Oh God, yes.
Completely different here than Canada, and then they hurry up and wait. And I think anyone who owns here knows, hurry up and wait. Just wait, and it teaches you patience. Just wait.
I would say, as a corporate person now, it took me a good year to come off of my expectation lifestyle and my convenience lifestyle to slow down enough to really learn what's going on around me and embrace it and feel like this is an acceptable pace to get what I need in my life to be happy. And having come off many years of illness, which my friends on the call understand, slowing down was a very important thing for me to learn how to do. So I hope that becomes true for all of you.
I was just going to say, if we could do something different compared to how it happened, if we had a little bit more planning time before our move, I would like to have done more Spanish classes in the States before we moved down here. I sort of feel like, I mean, I really enjoy Puerto Morelos already, but I really think that my enjoyment of living here is just going to increase as I get more fluent in Spanish. Sure. So I would like to have hit the ground here with a little more Spanish under my belt than we have.
Yeah, I agree. And mine is still not great after 9 years. I can read Spanish. I can understand Spanish, but I'm still such a chicken speaking it. But I know that my life here would be so much richer. I mean, I love my life now, but it will be so much richer when I can really communicate and not feel nervous every time I, am in a new situation, because that's always in your mind. Like, am I looking like a total idiot right now?
I agree with you 100%.
Kim, don't you mean pollo?
Thank you, Sergeant Major.
That's gonna be asphalt.
So, hi, I'm Caroline's friend, Sarah.
Sarah.
Caroline has been bullying me into moving to Mexico. So I want you guys to know that they're trying to start their own town. I just want to get the cards on the table there. But no, I'm curious if any of you guys have children school age, if you've had to deal with getting them into school. I have one child that is, both of my older kids are almost out of school anyway, I will say that. But I have a child that still has 4 years to go. So I just want to know how you guys have handled that if you've had to deal with it.
I don't think anyone here has that issue, but we're going to have another Moving to Mexico Monday with people with kids.
Okay.
And if you...
Oh, Caroline didn't tell me that this was
didn't know that.
breeder-free zone. I'm so sorry.
Let me talk a little bit, because I have a friend who has kids in school, and she actually had 2 kids. And Kim, you might want to, I don't know if you want to add to this, because you'll know who I'm talking about. She has an older son who had learning disabilities, and she had a younger son who was like above what he should have been taught. And she had them in school, and she decided to take them out and homeschool them, just because the oldest one, he had a lot of learning disabilities, and the youngest one was he's brilliant. He's very smart. He's a whip like that. I have other friends who have children here, Shade and Sativa and Kirk, and their kids are they were in school. Since COVID, there is no school. And actually Kirk and Sativa's daughter has risen above what her grade level is. So those are people that you might want to, we all have contact with people with children.
Yeah.
However, there's private schools, there's public schools, there's fishing schools, there's like all kinds of schools here. You just have to do a little bit of the research and maybe talk to some of the people. I know there's a couple from Red Deer, Alberta, that I was going to meet with her for coffee this week, and we missed out, and we're going to meet next week. But she has younger children that are here, and I think she's homeschooling, but once COVID stops and the schools start again, she wants to put them in school so they can be fully immersed in the Spanish language and that sort of thing. So I don't know how old your children are.
Oh, yeah, no, my youngest is a freshman in high school, and we're doing at-home learning as we speak. But I guess then that begs another question of, do they get diploma from the US still if you do the online learning, or from Canada?
Completely different here in Mexico, completely.
Okay.
But if you're doing online, that's the
do
question.
they do online US school, or is it
yeah, you can do that. You can do online US schooling for my friend.
Okay.
You know that for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to take away from the fun night and like bring
No,
it all
no,
with kids.
Good.
Yeah.
No, it's a good question.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's coming
Thanks,
up.
you
So keep
guys.
an eye on our Facebook page.
I definitely will.
I think it's in 2 weeks, but yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to cooking, so I'm gonna take you guys off camera. Just
Make
so
a
you don't get
margarita.
busy.
Make a margarita.
Thank you guys. It was great.
Nice to meet you, Sarah.
Tim, if I could
Did
just mention one.
did
one other-
anyone mention that Donna is a teacher?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I also work with the,
I love you, Donna.
I also work with the high school, but they're not in session still.
I know. We did some volunteer work for a few schools, a couple of schools there. But what is your input in having an American school there?
Yeah. Well, actually, there are ASIS, which is the international school, is in Cancun. If you want to do the bilingual, the baccalaureate here is the equivalent of about 9th through 12th grade. They run by semesters when they run. And I do have a few students that are US and now have come down here that are in the baccalaureate right here. And the baccalaureate here, which is equivalent of the high school, is fantastic. Just fantastic. The administrator is, I would say, one of the best I've ever worked with. So
thanks.
If you're thinking about that, the high school is amazing here. And that's the public one.
I think she left. We'll tell her.
Okay.
I'm still here. If you, yes, no, I
Okay.
was still
I thought
listening.
you
I'm
got
so
off the
sorry.
call.
I did get, no, thank you for the input. I did get slightly distracted by a child, so I apologize.
Well, if you want to come down here and check it out, I will set up a meeting with you and you can go over and meet with the administrator and go through the school, whatever you want.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. Really, I really think my kids will probably do great. I just thought it was a question worth asking, so.
Yeah.
And I honestly think I probably won't be able to move there for 4 years, but we'll see.
Oh.
Wish me luck. Oh, I have one more question. I'm so sorry. If Steve and his wife are still here, I'm so sorry. I can't remember your name.
Steve and Lisa.
Steve and Lisa. With you guys working for global companies, were you the first people to decide to move to Mexico, for instance, and did you have to jump through any hoops with your company? Because I also work for a global company and I don't think I would be allowed to work outside of the US, even though I work from home currently.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Our situation, I think, was a little unique. Initially, when we moved 3 years ago, we were working for my ex-brother-in-law. And yeah, and I basically approached him and I said, hey, we want to buy a place, do you have a problem with that? He's like, no. He's like, you got connection. He's like, I don't care where you are as long as you have an internet connection. And at that time, our the higher ups didn't know where we were. Because we do have a Colorado address still. We still live in Colorado, sort of, but we really don't, for tax purposes. But so again, the company has our US address. So it hasn't been a problem at all. And since then, we now have new management. We've kind of kept it under the radar. Like, we don't offer the information, but if the information was asked of us, we would be honest and say, this is where we're working. Because again, for us, like throughout the year, we work from all different places. Like, I have family in Massachusetts. We're in Washington State or Idaho in the summertime. And so again, for our company, as long as we have an internet connection, we're fine. So our new managers that we're just currently working with, I just came out last week and I said, yeah. And she's like, oh, Lisa works in Colorado. And I said, well, now I'm on Eastern time because I'm in our place in Mexico. And I said, I hope that's not a problem. And she's like, no, we're a global company. Again, it just depends on your company.
Yeah.
and how you want to approach that, right?
Yeah.
We kind of kept it under the radar as much as we could, but we also don't want to lie and say, you know, we're not working.
Yeah.
But you have
Yeah.
a US bank account and you still get paid in the US and all that, yeah.
Yeah,
I have a question
ahead.
for the people that go back and forth, which is what I plan on doing. I guess you can only stay for 6 months at a time, is that right? And then you have to go back to the US or Canada?
If you don't get a
If
resident
you don't have
visa.
your yeah, like we got our permanent residency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we
And
don't
do you have to give
leave.
up your citizenship for the US then when you do that?
No,
No,
no.
no, you don't
No?
become a Mexican citizen. You just have permanent residency here in Mexico.
And you don't see,
And you
you
don't
go
even
back
have
to
to
the
live
US
here.
and you keep your US passport and all that stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So
It's really
residents, yeah, so having a visa status in Mexico only affects you here. It doesn't affect your citizenship or even your residency of any other country. I mean, you can still be a resident of Colorado, for example, where I'm from. And if I'm a permanent resident here in Mexico, there's no requirement that I spend any amount of time in Mexico in any given year. I cannot enter Mexico at all. I keep the status. So it's helpful, and you don't have to keep going back and getting the tourist visas every 6 months, or even the temporary resident visa. But yeah, it doesn't affect anything else.
so if I were to come down plan was to be November to end of April, would I be better off getting a residency or not bother and just come as a 6-month tourist?
A lot of people don't ever get resident visas. If you're going to buy a property and or if you're going to have a car here or have a bank account here, you'll probably want to get at least a temporary resident visa. If you're going to buy property, after you buy the property, you should get permanent resident visa status as soon as you can, because you'll need that to qualify for a partial exemption against capital gains once you sell your property. And you get discounts, and you don't have to deal with it ever again, and there's a lot of discounts basically.
And Kim, also, I've heard, and we have our temporary residency, but I've heard people say that with the tourist visa, you want to come down for 6 months. There's no guarantee that they're going to grant you the 6 months when you enter the country. Is that true?
Yeah, they're not right. They don't have to give that to you. I mean, they usually do.
Hang on a second. I know a number of people who have been here for more than a year, and they're on a temporary visa. Like Willie's been here for over a year, well over a year, and he's done it before, and he just pays for his card, and then he leaves the country. I don't know how that works.
Well, now they're tracking it. That's not the best idea for him to do that.
I know, but so in the last, how many months have they been tracking it, Kim?
Well, they had a program where you could extend your tourist visa with no issues, and I don't know that they're doing that now, but during the lockdown, they did that. They extended it.
Okay.
Yeah, my kids had to do an extension, and it was just for lockdown, and they're no longer doing it. They have to leave the country, and they're working on their permanent status if you don't have it. It's not legal to extend beyond your tourist visa.
So are they working on it from here, or are they working on it?
No, you have to initiate it in the United States. Well, if you're a US citizen.
Yeah.
Initiating it.
I don't have that issue, but I've heard of other people staying here. I don't know. It's illegal. It's illegal.
It's illegal.
It is illegal. It's just basically illegal.
So right now I've been coming down for 30 days all the time, or 28 days actually. And I've never done anything other than just land in the airport and show them my passport and get back on the plane and leave. At what point do you need to do things like getting a special tourist visa and stuff like that? For how long?
Are you planning on buying?
Yes.
Okay, well then just
179 days.
Start the residency now. If you're planning on buying, start it now.
I wouldn't do that. I'd wait till after you buy.
I wouldn't do it either. I'd wait till after you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
You can
We
use,
bought our house and then started, yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
but,
But why would you do that when you're already in the country? Why don't you start the process while you're in US or Canada,
Right.
and then come back here if you're planning on buying anyway? Why wouldn't you start it now, Kim?
well, you don't need it to buy, and it's an easier process if you have already bought. So,
No, I have to disagree with, as a Canadian, going into the embassy, he told me that he said, absolutely does not make a precedence of whether you own properties, whether you have enough money in your bank, the only way that it trumps it is if you retire, is what I was told in Canada. I don't know about the US, but he said, because I was doing it because I had properties, I was registering it that way. He said, absolutely not. No, you're not doing it that way. And he changed it. And I actually got my residency over top of that. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work in the US.
Well,
However,
I'm Canadian too. I'm Canadian too.
What province are you from?
Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, but it might have changed a lot since Val did her work. Who knows? I mean, when did you do that?
I just did it.
Oh.
Did it. I'm just a permanent resident. Can you believe it? 20 some years. And I'm actually a resident. I just applied for my 3-year. He told me it was better that because of the age that I am, I was 50 years old. I'm going to say how old I was. And he said, you're not technically retiring. However, I was trying to say, well, I own properties. I have this amount of money in my bank account, blah, blah, blah. And he said, no, that's not how you need to. You're going to be registered quicker and faster if you do it this way, which was completely different for what I thought it was the quickest way. So
Yeah,
from
'cause-
Canada, anyway.
Yeah, my wife and I will both be retired when we buy the place.
Okay,
And
so I would recommend, from what my guy told me in Calgary, Alberta, that you say that you're retiring and register before you come to Mexico, before you buy. I would recommend that. Start the process there and then come here, meet with Kim and Gabrielle, look for a property, buy, and then get an immigration specialist and finish up the like Millie. I don't know if you use Millie. Do you use Millie, Kim? Yeah, she's fantastic. She's amazing. And just have her do the paperwork and get it done. Because I think you can open a bank account, you can buy a vehicle, you can do all kinds of stuff when you have your residency. I recommend, in my experience, I recommend that.
And Kim, she was saying you have somebody that can do all this stuff and set that all up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
So we had there's a YouTube video, but I can give you her contact information.
I'll check out the YouTube video.
And she can advise you too on what to do before you go in Canada. I think it's always good to talk to her first, and she can help you set it up correctly.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, so there are many people who've lived here, Harry, forever and they just don't stay longer than 180 days. They've never gotten any other kind of visa status. So it's entirely possible to do that. You don't have to do it, but it makes life a little easier if you have some kind of either temporary or permanent resident visa. Then you don't have to worry about the 6-month thing, and you can register a car and open an account and everything. So, okay, who's next?
I just wanted to say one thing about the, was it Keith and Bruce that were talking about the community here, about the gay community? I never ever felt there was a division, ever. There was like, we're all like part of the community, you know? I have a son who's gay, and he comes here and he's like, this is awesome. I love it here. He's from Toronto. He's from a large city. There's no division. There's no division. So if anyone's a gay community member, there's no division. We're all a community. We're all of one. And I just wanted to point that out because Yeah, I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. At having a gay son, I'm so proud of that. So proud of that. I love this community.
That's awesome. So Amy, you guys are very quiet and I don't know where you are. Oh, wait.
Here we are.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you somewhere cold?
Yes, we're in Missouri.
Okay.
And we've had the most ice on our lake that we've ever seen.
Oh.
Our ice is frozen our dock and our boat in. So we live on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We've been to Puerto Morelos a couple of times, and this last time was in February or January.
We spent Christmas and New Year's in Mexico. We travel.
We bounce around. We get a
go for
car and we travel
2
all
weeks to
over.
a month, and we just
nice.
we usually put
no reservations. That's us.
We just go. So we went all the way down to the Belize border, Chetmal. We just stay everywhere because we live on a lake. We love
water.
No, the lake down.
Oh, Bacalar.
Bacalar,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bacalar. Pretty.
But we gravitate. Every time we always, since we travel all the way down to Belize and back traveling, we like to stay our last stint in Puerto Morelos because it's close to the airport.
Right. Yeah.
So we just keep liking it more and more every time we stay, and that's always the last of our stay. So we're already relaxed,
And this last time we stayed longer than we ever have, not really knowing kind of what we were going to do. We ended up being there a week at Layla Guest House.
Yep.
Yeah. So those guys were so
Yeah,
cool. We went we're like, oh yeah, we're just going to stay one night. We ended up being there a week.
Aw.
So they were like very pet friendly. We love that. We love just their hospitality was amazing. And I just feel like we fall more and more in love with the town because it is more like old Mexico compared to, we've been doing our own travels before we were together to Mexico. You see how Cancun has changed. You see how Playa del Carmen has changed. You see how Tulum has changed. I'm like, we're getting just like pushed out of everything. Like we're kind of not we don't want to be like in the scene of bounce chicka wow wow all the time. We just want to like enjoy the cultures, a lot of what Val was speaking to.
And we would be more like Val's. I don't think we'd ever not come back to our lake that we love in the summer. So we would be those people who we would never probably move. We would probably do the 6.
And we just don't know how to even like fathom that right now. Just not even, the reason we're on here is just to try to figure out like, what really is this? How do people make this happen?
Work, yeah.
I mean, Social Security, retirement, trying to work, we're just kind of not knowing anything right now. We're trying to figure it out.
So we do love you putting this on. It's very helpful.
You're welcome. It's a good place to start, and you can kind of see that other people, if you make a decision to do something, I've found you find a way to do it, but it can seem overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
And we walked by your office during Christmas and New Year's, and we were down
do a lot of walking,
and we almost went in, but we just didn't quite.
We're kind of shy.
Now we wish we would have. So.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come in anytime.
We might be looking for a monthly rental next February.
Yeah, we're thinking about coming back next February for the whole month. So we're going to talk to you about that.
Beautiful.
Well, Amy, Jim, and I did just walk in early February or late January, and we're buying now.
Wow.
Yeah, we go down for a month. We go for a month every end of January to the end of February.
Perfect
So
time.
it's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just have many years of working.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have a lot of years of working for sure.
This was my first year of being able to work online, and it was because of COVID. I'm a consultant in healthcare, and I don't. It's a non-essential, so we got to do everything online. So it's probably not going to continue. So I'm just not sure how that's all going to pan out.
I think it's hard to know, really, Amy, if it's going to exist long term or not, right?
Right.
But I think a lot of people's careers are changed, and companies are going to see that the expense of having property and capital investments in the United States are so expensive, or even Canada. I'm sure it's true as well. I don't know as much about that market, but in corporate America, they're going to divest of all those big capital expenses. They don't need those call centers. They don't need those giant buildings anymore. Now that we've proven that you can work at home, there's no need for you to go back to the office. So I think we're going to see more and more. I see some head shaking around the gallery here. There's going to be more and more of this long-term adoption of virtual working.
I mean, I
so
hope
you
so.
should just be comfortable knowing that we have an environment of internet that can support that. And like Lisa and Steve were saying, and my own experience, I didn't even tell my company I moved to Mexico. I just did because I was already virtual. And I, like you, could not imagine myself living full time in that environment because I'm a corporate girl and I'm working and I'm traveling and I am who I am, darn it. But then, you know, I lived there a few years. Next thing you know, 4 months in Mexico and the rest in the US, then turned into 6 and 6 months. And then it turned into 9 months in Mexico. And now I'm full-time in Mexico.
That's
So
what
it happens.
Yeah, I probably have to change careers. I'm a dietitian. I'm in consulting world. So it's different. I don't work for any corporation. I work for many, and I work some privately, and I do some private clients. So it's kind of a weird job.
We all evaluate our own requirements. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and thanks to everybody who gives input
Sharing.
because it does help for sure.
I wanted to say I have a friend, Elizabeth, who does the is in the same industry as you, and she's from Texas. And her husband moved here, and they live here full time now. Kim, do you sell them there? No. Do you sell that land to them? Anyway, and they both work online, both, and they both make a living. They both are able to live here, and they both, you know, they're able to sustain living here in Mexico. They're just building a house now, and they're very successful at it. So if you would like, message me and I can give you Elizabeth's information and you can talk to her, talk to Gary.
Well,
what does Gary do?
They're Tex-Mex expats. They have a blog and they blog all about it.
All right. Well, or ask him for their blog and then you can talk to them directly.
Completely froze.
You know, and they are doing incredible things. You know, working from I am a non-computer illiterate person, and I've known Elizabeth since they moved here, and she has helped me so much. Oh my God. Yeah. So if they can make a living working off the internet and living here, you can do it.
Yeah. Learning.
Totally, you can do it.
Teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. And it's all about what you want. It's all about what you want. It's all about, you know, the type of life that you want. What kind of energy do you want to put out that you return back? That's all what it's about. Really. Coming from Canada, coming from the go, make money, owning the more expensive things, showing who you are. You know, I own multiple companies in Canada. It's not about that. It's about the self-fulfilling, you know, part of understanding who you are and being able to do that in a community, in a space that you feel like you're thriving and that you're, you know, being the best you that you can be. And that's exactly what I'm doing here in Mexico and many other people. So Kim, myself, there's tons of people who can connect you with people who are doing that. They're living their purpose. They're living who they are and their best of who they can be here in Puerto Morelos, here in Mexico, here, you know, that's what it's all about.
You got to put it out there.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so, you know what, we're running into almost 2 hours here, so I think we have to wrap it up.
Because
But
it's
I think-
COVID and we're drinking and we want to be hanging out with you guys.
No, this is fun. I like this cocktail party.
Yeah.
And I hope that you all found it helpful. I think we'll do this, maybe try to do it at least, maybe once a month.
Hi, Gabrielle.
In the other room.
Yeah, he's just at the other desk.
Oh, he's on mute, yeah, because we're
Aw, hi,
both in this,
Gabrielle. Hi,
we're in the
Gabrielle.
same room, and so we get the echo. But we really appreciate you guys joining us, and stay tuned for more Moving to Mexico Mondays. Next week, we've got the attorney coming who is going to explain all the different ways to own, you know, legal ownership by foreigners in Mexico. His name is Ivan, and he's a great person and a really good explainer of legal things. So that's next Monday, March 1st. And then coming up, we have the issue with the kids. We're going to have people who've moved here as younger families or even with teenagers. And then we'll do our whole buying process again. So we're just going to keep going.